Welcome back to Stadia Source, number one source for Stadia news and reviews. This is the Stadia Source Roundtable podcast. My name is Avery, and we've got a great show tonight, so let's get to it. With me tonight, we've got Dan the Man.
How's it going, all?
We got Blue Bob's the Gaming CPA.
Everyone.
And we've got Now Your Mama Knows Anthony in the corner.
I'm a cowboy! Oh, man.
A very excited cowboy for you today. And joining us tonight, we got royalty on the podcast tonight. You may know our guest from his Ejahmix Plays, Ejahmix Talks, or any other Ejahmix goodness on his channel. It's Ejahmix.
Hey, guys.
Good to have you tonight. We'll get to know you in just a little bit. But before we get started, did you know you can get the Roundtable as an actual podcast? Search for Stadia Source on Spotify, Pocket Casts, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get podcasts. And if you're watching us live, we want you to be a part of the conversation. Be sure to say hi in the chat. And if you want to support us a little bit, you can hit that super chat button or that super sticker to show your support for Stadia Source. Last but not least, you can join Stadia Source right here on YouTube. Members get amazing perks from exclusive community play live streams to Stadia Source merch and more. So click the join button down below to learn more and become a member. Ejahmix, so good to have you on the show tonight. If folks don't know you, haven't had an opportunity to get to meet you just yet, tell us a little bit about your history with Stadia and how you got in the platform and what you like to do on your channel.
So I've had Stadia essentially since launch. I didn't get my hands on the Founders Edition, but I got the Premier Edition. So I've had Stadia since launch. I've been playing ever since. I actually started making content earlier this year. So I wasn't like right at the forefront with it, but I started making content in around February and have been going strong ever since, playing games and doing news stuff and, a lot of cool things on my channel, live streaming. It's been a lot of fun this past year.
Very cool. Well, we're glad to have you to talk the week's news. But before we get into our usual, what have we been playing and the news roundup and all that good stuff, guys, we got a little bit of a surprise for you tonight. It's not too much of a surprise because we tweeted it, but we've got a very special guest in the house. We've got Josie Barton, who is the voice behind @Stadia on Twitter. Now, some of you may have been firing off a tweet to @Stadia saying, hey, I can't get this game to load, or hey, am I going to get that Cyberpunk promo? And this wonderful lady below us, below me in the box, has been so kind and gracious to respond to you, despite the fact that is not Google Stadia that you are tweeting at. So, Josie, thank you for jumping on to the podcast tonight. To tell us a little bit about your life as the voice behind @Stadia. So before we get into that, tell us what really @Stadia is on Twitter.
Yeah, so @Stadia is the handle for an organization that starts and leads thriving churches for the next generation. So we started as a church planting organization, and as we've grown and diversified, now we offer church supplant services like bookkeeping, phygital, especially now in COVID era. So how do you mix your physical and digital church services to kind of create one cohesive church community? So that's what we actually do. But
and that is at Stadia because you are
Stadia.
Stadia church planting.
Stadia church planting. Yep.
And you guys have been at that handle. You've been a thing a lot longer than Stadia has been a thing. Tell us our Stadia. So to distinguish, tell us what your reaction was in March of 2019 when Google got up on this big stage of the platform and said, "Hey, here's this new thing called Stadia," and suddenly your Twitter life changed.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it was kind of like an oh crap moment at first. You were like, okay, well, this is about to get real interesting real quick. So we actually had a social media, like a part-time social media manager at the time who was a college student who started blowing up my phone and then my immediate boss, who's our VP of operations. And we were like, what is wrong with Jonah? Like, why is he bothering us? And we had this thread like, Google just made this huge announcement, cloud-based streaming. It's going to be called Stadia. And we were like, okay, well, we don't exactly know what to do about that, but let's just roll with it while we can. And we did, we tossed around, do we need a rebrand? What is that going to look like? And so there were a lot of conversations to be had. But our social media guy at the time, Jonah, really took it in stride. And so that kind of that first round of commentary that you saw back in March of 2019, the responses, those were led by Jonah and a little bit by Matt. And then things calmed down for a little bit, until the actual release back in November of last year. So.
And suddenly everything went crazy again. How quickly did people start tagging you instead of actually figuring out that there's a Google in front of the one they wanted?
Immediately. I mean, like day of, pretty much as soon as it happened. And that was actually what alerted Jonah that something had happened. He was like, our Twitter handle has not been something that we've even used consistently. We're really more a Facebook, Instagram right now. And we were like, why are people tagging us? Like, why are we trending on Twitter right now? We have no idea. But alas, we quickly figured it out.
And that it's just so fun to hear the story. And how what was the decision about, let's just play. Let's just engage and play along. How did your team kind of decide to land on that as a reaction?
Yeah, well, we thought there's no harm in getting your name out there, no matter how it gets out there. And so even though we were having kind of serious behind the scene conversations about, okay, what does this mean for our brand as a whole, like long term? In the moment, people are finding our profile. If they're clicking in, then they have a chance to see what we're about. Or if they get, mentioned or tagged in something, wait, why is Stadia talking to us about churches? Oh, I made a mistake. So we didn't really have a problem with it. And it's kind of on brand for us even. Like we're all about just helping people get where they need to go. So if you need to go to cloud-based streaming and that's who you're actually trying to reach, we're happy to kind of guide you in that direction, or we don't want you to have to wait for your answer. So we'll make sure that you know that you tagged the wrong folks.
That is so wonderful. Have you gotten actually any like leads out of the mix-ups? Has anybody ever been like, I could totally start a church?
We've had one person say that they would give to us, and I have to go in and check if they actually did donate, but not that I know of. I feel like our project managers would have told me if someone said, oh yeah, my on-ramp was through Twitter actually, but there's a first time for everything, so we're not counting it out for sure.
You never know. So I got to ask, have you tried Stadia? Have you given our Stadia a shot?
I have not tried Google Stadia. I'm so sorry. I hear great things, but I haven't tried it yet. My husband, though, is very anxious to try it. When he heard I was going to do this, he was like, you have to tell them all that I really want to try it, and I'm going to try it. I have to try it. I was like, okay, I'll tell everyone. Everyone will know. So now the world knows my husband really wants to try it. So
at Google Stadia should send a free Premier Edition.
I know they really should give you a Premier.
I mean, we'll take it. We're not going to say no to that. So
I'm just picturing, one of the churches with the giant jumbotrons at the front and just, fire up. I was close Pro Presenter or Media Shout and open up Stadia. See, I know those terms because I was a church media guy.
That's very. That uses Pro Presenter. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Just saying, it works on Mac. Panel, do any of you have any questions for Josie while we have her? All right. On that note,
I did, but I was going to let other people. So,
Dan,
are you a gamer yourself at all, or?
I'm not, honestly. I wish my husband loves gaming. Once we started having kids, I was the one who was like, I'm not going to be a video game widow here. Like, you need to be here with our kids. But now my kids have started getting into gaming. Every time they ask me to play, I just am terrible. So I'm more than open to learn, but I'm letting them learn first, and then they can teach me all the tricks. So,
Stadia has Uno, it has Monopoly,
I could probably do Uno. I feel like that's probably about at my level of gaming, so that's pretty good.
There you go.
And is there such thing as a church seed? Because someone asked me what church planting was, and I genuinely said out of sarcasm, it's where you plant a seed and a church grows. And they believed me.
It's kind of on the same lines a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good question. We church planting is such a nebulous term. We've actually had a lot of conversations. Like, we should just call it like a church startup, because that's something people understand a little bit better. So no, I will clarify for everyone. There is no such thing as a church seed. Dan lied to you. That does not exist. What there are people behind the scenes and tools that you can use to kind of start your church up from the ground. Very entrepreneurial. Church starting is entrepreneurial work. So.
You mean angel investors?
Yeah. Oh, nice. I like what you did there. That's nice.
And Rock in the chat saying, God is the original cloud gamer, I guess. So, and on the 7th day, he downloaded the patch for Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, nicely done. Nicely done, yes.
Well, Josie, it's such a thrill to have you jump in and say hi to us tonight. If people want to find you online, where can they go?
If you want to find us on Twitter, you can find us at Stadia. But if you want to find us on the World Wide Web, we're at stadiachurchplanting.org. And then we have Stadia Church Planting both on Facebook and Instagram as our handles. So.
Fantastic. Well, Josie, thank you so much for being on the podcast tonight. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Good to meet y'all. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. So, yeah, you guys, a while back, I had this thought, like, you know what? They're really nice folks, and I wonder if they would say yes if I asked them on the podcast, and they jumped on it. So big shout out to Josie and Matt and all the folks at Stadia Church Planting. So they might not have been playing too many games this week, but I bet we have. So why don't we talk about what we have been playing this week? And we will start with our good friend Ejahmix. Ejahmix, what's been on your playlist this week, Stadia or otherwise?
Outcasters, Borderlands, and Cyberpunk 2077. All three of those games, I've been playing the heck out of those. I reached level 40 on Outcasters, done on my dailies every day. I've gotten pretty decently far on Borderlands and Cyberpunk. Like, I played the first 6 hours last night, and I've been playing pretty much all day today. So that game is amazing. I'm loving it, and yeah, that's pretty much been it.
Fantastic. Well, we're glad you stopped by for us and took a break from either or both of those games. This is the dumbest night in the world to do a live stream on anything that isn't actually playing the game. We'll talk about why in just a little bit. Anthony, what's on your playlist, Stadia or otherwise?
So a big deal for me this week was Avengers, because Kate Bishop came out. And so that was pretty cool. I played a ton of Avengers. I've been playing a lot of Outcasters. Last time I played, I got a win, which was cool. Beat the Cyborg. He was in my room, and I won. So I had to throw that out there. And then I've been playing a lot of Pac-Man. I got this thing where whenever I stream, I'll play Pac-Man. So my first time I play Pac-Man fresh, I always try to see if I win. And so being that it's a battle royale game, it's like, imagine, can you just jump on Fortnite and get your first win, or Call of Duty Warzone or whatever? But I have been successful to very often get my very first Pac-Man win. It's been pretty cool. But those are the three main games I've been playing lately.
Very fun. Big shout out to Rock with the super sticker, the 2-pound super sticker with the cool pear that's dancing and wiggling. I don't know what the pear's doing. It's kind of funky. Blue Bobs, what's been on your playlist this week?
So I streamed some Immortal Phoenix Rising today on the Stadia Source channel. Stadia Source number one place for news and reviews.
I love how you just
fumbled it.
Stadia Source. That's my joke. You
like
can't take my joke.
I'm a robot at this point. But I got to hang out. Anthony popped into chat for a while. I actually, for some reason, my game audio has been struggling on Streamlabs, so I just had to tell my whole life story. So if you wanna know how the name Blue Bobs came up or how I became a CPA, watch the video. You'll find out. But I also played Cyberpunk 2077. Super fun game. Really, honestly, if I were to compare the two, though, I think Cyberpunk it throws you like so much. There's so much in the game, and not necessarily like a big in it. Like, and the introduction is so big that I'm 2 hours in. I don't even think I've like basically brushed anything. Sadly, it's huge. But I also played Fogs, which honestly was super duper fun. That game is really entertaining. And then I think some Pummel Party and Rocket League.
Very, very fun. Dan, how about you? What's been on your playlist this week?
I've played quite a lot of Outcasters. Genuinely surprised at how much I actually like that game, because I mean, I know we've got people like Eddie that have, obsessed over this game for ever since it was pretty much announced. But I couldn't help but feel like it was just going to be a little bit underwhelming when it came out. But I'm glad to say that I'm completely wrong on that one, because it is a hit and it's just so fun to play. You can jump in and play a couple of matches if you've not got too much time. The matches are quite quick and easy. So yeah, there's Outcasters and also a little game called Cyberpunk. May have played that a little bit. No, I heard it got delayed again, to be fair. But
for everybody who wasn't playing on Stadia, yes. But
Right.
we'll talk about that.
What was the gigabyte? I just want to say, because I know F is in the chat as well, that F did a stream of Cyberpunk last night on the Stadia Source channel, and probably one of my favorite moments was the moment where he was customizing his character and he realized that he'd not put the nudity filter on. So
oh no, hide.
what did he call it? The pecker picker or something.
Great, now we have to label this one as explicit content. Fantastic.
And then there was a mission kind of like towards the end of it where you have to basically, I'm not going to ruin it for anybody here, but it kind of involves a lot
of adult entertainment in that game.
And it was just on screen at the whole time, and you could see him like, Dan's going to kill me. But yeah, it was fun. So that's been my playlist.
It says that caught him off guard. I would imagine so. I've been continuing my trek through the jungles of Mexico, or Peru, I think I've actually gotten to now, with Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I'm trying to I want to finish it. I'm the guy that I can't start a narrative-based game and not finish it if I get far enough in that it hooks me. And so this one, trying to do that. So I'm at like 40% completion on that one, and I have so many other games in queue to get to afterwards. I've also been playing Outcasters, of course. I'm kind of in the same boat. We'll talk more about Outcasters in just a little bit, but I'm in the same boat. It's grown on me and surprised me quite a bit. And beyond that, just random games I bought ever since I switched to the dark side of the Force. New case, by the way, isn't it nice? It's clear. Ever since I switched to the dark side of the Force, I've been using Apple Arcade and just playing random stuff off of there. So I don't know that I would count that as, but it's fine. All gaming is gaming. Hashtag all gaming is gaming.
Except Apple.
Exactly. Stadia sucks, you guys. All right, so let's get to the news of the week. Obviously, the number one headline is finally Cyberpunk 2077. Cybertwink. That's a different thing. Releases. And Stadia actually had a pretty good launch of this, all things considered. The early reviews have come in from The Verge and from 9to5 Google and all kinds of sites basically saying if you want to have a decent experience playing Cyberpunk, you either need a very high-powered computer, the Xbox Series X, or Stadia. And everything else is going to give you a subpar experience on it. Ejahmix, you've obviously jumped in and started playing already. What's been your impressions of the game and how it runs on Stadia?
It's been running great, even on on the Stadia version of the game. This is something I heard isn't present on the PlayStation version, but there's a performance mode and a visual mode. So I played on both, and the game just looks great. It runs pretty well. I've encountered a few bugs here and there, but nothing game breaking, nothing that's just like okay, it's there, and you can ignore it and keep moving. The game's just been running amazing. I've been enjoying it. Like I said, I played 6 hours last night, and it takes about 6 hours to reach the title screen, which is crazy. And there's just so much game. It's so much game, and I've been spending so much time. It's almost unhealthy how much time I've been spending on this game, but it's great. It's been running very well.
We're fun. Blue Bobs, this was the game that this was it. This was the headline title of the year that everybody's been waiting on, and Stadia had to land it, and they had to stick the landing. How do you think? What's your impression of what you've been seeing so far on the web about that?
I mean, it's really just been reassuring and reaffirming what we've been talking about. Obviously, when the delay first happened, and I think I had done a personal video, and I was like, "Hey, did Google just flex on Cyberpunk to delay this or the CD Projekt Red?" They probably didn't, but the nice thing is it did allow them to get it day and date, which is huge because with the last game we saw happening, and I'm missing it right now. The Baldur's Gate Early Access, when that dropped, and people were having struggle delaying or downloading the game, and it was taking forever. I felt like if they could get Cyberpunk day and date, no updates, that would be impressive. And they really knocked it out of the park. Again, like you mentioned with the articles, the quality is not only do they have the no downloads, but they also are one of the 2 or 3 different systems that is quote unquote approved to run Cyberpunk. And that's really cool. And I think that there's a lot more people out there that are like now turning towards Stadia, which is cool.
Yeah.
Anthony, did you picked up Cyberpunk, right?
I think I'm one of the only 2 people in the world that was not hyped. I kept saying, like, I kept jumping in people's streams saying, please explain the hype leading up to Cyberpunk. Because I just didn't get it because it's a new IP. So the hype was so crazy for a game that isn't a prequel or isn't a sequel. I just didn't get it.
It is a sequel. There was a previous game in the Cyberpunk series.
Was it really? No, I think it's just people played The Witcher 3, and then they mentioned they were making Cyberpunk, so people loved that game and what CD Projekt Red did, so people was looking forward to Cyberpunk. That's as far as how I think.
It's the tabletop RPG Cyberpunk 2020.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking
of. Yeah.
I knew this wasn't the first one ever.
Yeah.
And I was about to sound like really dumb and okay. Setting, story, finish, and it's in North Carolina of all places.
Yeah, see, I kind of.
Did we say Cyberpunk 2020? Did you say?
Yeah, Cyberpunk 2020 is the tabletop RPG that this was based off of. So CDPR they picked it up and made a game around it essentially.
Did the players have to stay 2 meters apart?
Yes. So that doesn't count. But yesterday I was streaming, and man, like everybody, like nobody was in my stream because when I went down my list, Cyberpunk. I was like, wow. And so what I did, because I was going to talk about the video game awards last night, I was like, you know what? Let's just jump in people videos. So I jumped in F video first, and on my stream, I was watching people streaming Cyberpunk, and I just went around jumping from different people's streams. I jumped in Ejahmix stream. I jumped in a bunch of people's streams and just like, okay, what's going on Cyberpunk? But it looks cool. Like I'm personally a multiplayer guy, so they're saying down the road they'll add a multiplayer. Maybe down the road, huh?
It could be 2022 before we see that.
Yeah, I mean, but it's so much hype. I was so close to getting it. But I was just like, I know they're giving away a free Stadia, but I don't need it because I have one. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. I love gaming, and I'm excited for it being the most anticipated game since Final Fantasy VII Remake. So let's see what it does. I just want to hear great things. Glitches is glitches, right? All we know is they could patch things and fix things, right? Performance issues, I guess, if a system isn't strong enough to handle it, then we're gonna have to deal with that. But I want to hear that the game's awesome and great, and so far that's what I'm hearing.
Fantastic. Anybody else got any thoughts on Cyberpunk 2077?
57.4 gigabytes.
Wow.
Was that the install or the day one patch?
No, did you guys not hear about that? So apparently people that were downloading it through places like Steam, the download got to 57.4 gigabytes and then just stopped.
Oh, wow.
And Twitter was just ablaze with people saying literally it's 57.4 for every single person as well. Like it wasn't just around there. And yeah, it's been one of those things where obviously we've just been able to hit play and away we go. And a lot of people obviously have been able to pre-install it on the Xbox and PlayStation and whatnot. But for those people that, I think they were waiting an hour and it didn't even tick past that.
And so, you know what? We have to highlight it coming out early, right? I was on there's one guy who hates Stadia, right, on Facebook, and he wrote somebody got somebody got it early, right? And no, they were showing that video. They were showing a video of the guy who got it early and it crashed or whatever, right? So I said, me personally, the only way I know you could get it the earliest is either on PC or Stadia. I said legally. He said, what are you talking about? Stadia's not getting it early. I said, no, look into it. They're actually going to get it technically a day early if you want to be technical, because the other console is going to get it at midnight. So they'll get it on the 10th. Stadia is going to have it as early as 4 p.m. Pacific on, the 9th. So it was like an uproar. People was like, no, that's not true. I'm like, okay, whatever. I guess I'm but so I just want to say we have to highlight that because I don't know how Stadia pulled that off. Is it because Stadia is more like a PC than a console? But I don't know. But that's awesome.
I'm really glad Anthony emphasized Pacific Standard Time when he said 4 p.m. instead of using the Eastern Time.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it was 7 p.m. Eastern, but yeah.
But I think I've said things like on Twitter about, I made a point of highlighting. I don't normally tend to try and rub it in or anything, but like, and people just have comments like, enjoy that controller latency or, I'm thinking what controller latency? Because there is none. And then people saying, oh yeah, but you'll hit your data cap dead quick with Stadia. I'm like, I don't have a data cap. And like everything you throw at me, I have an answer for because... You know what I mean? And I think I wrote it on Twitter earlier. Why do people think that just because they have a subpar experience with Stadia, that it must be the case for every single person? So I've been playing Cyberpunk, and I've been playing it most of the time since I got back from work today. Absolutely flawless. And what more can I say about it, really?
There you go. Ray in the chat saying that the cowboy hats hate cyber things. So clearly, Ray using
that's the real reason, isn't it?
Yeah, very clearly.
If it was Cowboy Punk, you'd have bought it.
I mean, yeah, to be honest with you. When I thought of Cyberpunk, it reminded me of Ray so bad. I was like, no. My wife was like, you want that for Christmas? I was like, girl, what? All of a sudden, I seen she just looked like Ray to me.
Ray the gaming wife? No, we're moving on. So literally 20 minutes before this podcast was set to go live, suddenly Stadia decided they hated me and didn't want me to have anybody in the audience tonight. We're so happy for everybody that's in the audience tonight. Rock and Ray and Adobe Music. Thank you, Adobe Music, for being here with us tonight, and the sounds of Stadia, and everybody who tuned in. But they sent out these emails, and by gum, they said, "Welcome to the Crowdplay Beta." Crowdplay Beta launched last week with all of the big streamers that suddenly got in on it. And then they said, if you knew where to find it, hidden away in the terms of service, a help menu for Crowdplay, there was a, would you like to be in the beta? Click here to apply. And it took you to a Google form. Shocking. And so we're all like, okay, fine. I posted it in our Slack. I was like, hey, everybody, go apply for Crowdplay. Who knows what'll happen? And I'm sitting here thinking it's gonna be months. They're gonna hit the streamers in order from top to bottom. It's gonna be the 1 million channels, and then the 6 figures, and then the 5 figures, and then it's hey, we're thankful for all 1,500 of our subscribers. We love you, or 1,800. I don't even count anymore. But we weren't gonna get it. It's gonna be forever. And then lo and behold, 20 minutes before showtime, congratulations, you're in. And immediately Twitter just exploded with, I'm going live on Crowdplay. And I'm like, don't go live yet. Just give us a minute. I love you, but just give us a minute. So
you should have enabled Crowdplay for this stream, and then I could have just, instead of having my camera here, I could have just had Bomberman playing in the middle while you all talk.
And I thought I was special. I got it. I posted in the chat, look what I got. And everybody was like, look what I got. I was like, oh.
I love Anthony. If y'all could be inside the Stadia Source Slack channel for just a little while, and you can, and we'll tell you how at the end of the show, you would see all of these threads where like the news channel's just ticking away with something, or the streamer channel's just ticking away with something, and then an hour later, Anthony's like, "Hey, did y'all hear about this?" Check the 68 messages you. Hey, people weren't during the day. I get it. We love you, Anthony. You're my favorite. Don't tell the rest of the streamers that. Right.
Better late than never, eh?
Exactly. Better late than pregnant. So finally, it's launched. And now, folks like I think Gem's still going right now. I saw all kinds of folks got it. The Nerf report, Bryant Chappell, he told me on the podcast how to pronounce his name, and then said I could pronounce it however I want. So I still don't remember. Mentioning that he got it, and Gem and Eddie and just everybody Everybody suddenly got crowd play today. So we are leveling up, you guys. Did anybody tune in to any of the streams this week that were the big name streamers were tuning in? Dan, I know you caught quite a few of them.
I can't remember the names of said people, but
right.
Yeah, I jumped into a couple. Mainly as the Stadia source account, just so people would say the name. A bit of a shameless promotion there, but you got to do what you got to do, right? Yeah, it was just amazing to see these people. They've got like millions of subscribers, and they had hundreds of thousands, well, tens of thousands. I think I can't remember what the highest I saw was. People filling up a lobby in Bomberman within minutes, and seconds even. People finally getting a chance to see what Stadia is all about and realize that it's not all these bad things that you read on the internet.
I've said it from day one that the thing that gets somebody interested in Stadia is playing Stadia. Like that's the thing that gets you the win, is actually giving it a try. Anthony, did you tune into any of these streamer streams?
Yeah, I tuned into the very first one, and the whole time that I don't know her name, but she had 9,000 plus viewers the whole time. And like I remember one point it was 451 people waiting to get into Bomberman. And but you know what's cool? You could tell that you could tell she wasn't like she didn't really play those games for a while, but she gave it a good go. They was really her and her team, they was really enthusiastic about it. They was inviting people to jump on, and I thought that was pretty cool because you would think like, okay, they're gonna get these people who probably are not Stadia people, but they was really, at least that one, she was really enthusiastic and really was telling her viewers to get in, and it seemed like everybody was having a great time. And on top of that, the stream was flowed like nicely. They didn't have any hiccups, nothing, and I thought that was a really big win for Stadia. That was a good look.
Yeah, there were a couple of them. I tuned into a handful of them, and you could always tell. I mean, obviously, everybody took home a check for this. They all got their check from Google.
Right.
But you could kind of sort of tell like the ones who have done it, who've played it before and kind of were having fun. But then you could tell the ones who were like, they started out just like, all right, and now we're playing some Outcasters on Stadia Pro. And if you don't have a Pro subscription, you can get the da-da-da-da-da. And then they'd start playing a few rounds. They'd be like, oh no, I almost got that. Oh, wait. And then you can kind of hear them like just evolving into enjoying the games as time was going on.
Yeah, I think one of the other things as well is like if you looked at the chat, I mean, however fast it was going as well, but like there was seldom any negative comments about Stadia in there because you know what I mean, when they're watching it live, working for this streamer, and people just being able to jump in and play, and you know what I mean, there's nothing you can say that, you know what I mean, the person on stream isn't having control of latency, for example. Because they'd probably say if they were, and it'd be obvious by the way they were playing, and everybody that was jumping in and play alongside them as well. Like there was anything you tried to say to bash Stadia just wouldn't work because everybody that you're saying it to is witnessing it working on screen and would know you're lying. So,
and you know we would have heard about it if one of those massive streamers had 100,000 people on stream and Stadia crapped out on them, or they were like, "Oh, this is just unplayable." We would have heard about it. Like it would have been news for certain segments of the general population. Ejahmix, are you going to give crowd? Did you apply, and are you going to give crowd play a try?
Yes, I did apply. I got the email, and I'm definitely giving it a try. Yes,
very fun. It's going to be Outcasters, Dead by Daylight. What's going to be your crowd play game of choice?
Well, I don't want. I Outcasters is kind of my game. I'm kind of a genius at Outcasters. I got the curve shot, 100% down pack. I think Outcasters is gonna be, the game I try first with crowd play. So yeah, that's gonna be my game.
I did get Brian Chappelle, and I made a point of putting it on Twitter as well.
Ashes killed me so many times. But yeah, and by the way, curve shots, the official name of that projectile. Who knew? That's literally what they're called. We found out from Outcasters today. Andrew, Blue Bobs. I know you tuned into quite a few of these streams as well.
Yeah. So I think the biggest streamer I found, his name is Vegeta. It's from Spain. He had 31 million subs, and when I tuned in, he had 32,000 people watching. I didn't understand him because he was in Spain. But I just again getting that broadness. I know when it first launched, there was a lot of inner community kind of struggle with, hey, why aren't they having us Stadia content creators in the lineup? And a lot of us were like, we all know about crowd play, we all know about crowd choice, we all know about Stadia. Let the big influencers with the big viewers and the followers take care of it. So that was cool. One of my favorite was Courage JD when he was streaming, because I've seen him with Dr. Disrespect and Ninja and a couple of other big name guys, and he was just funny. His whole personality is hilarious. He was chat, I've been waiting for you guys so I can beat you this whole time, and YouTube finally has a way for me to do that. And he's like, Google didn't tell me if I could be toxic or not, so I'm gonna be toxic. And
Right.
he went off. And it was awesome. And I think my one feedback for Google, and I've mentioned this before, is if they ever host this again in the future, which I think it's great. If they do something like this where they get a big content creator who has a lot of viewers, crowd play, crowd choice, boom, and they let it happen, is just have that Stadia person give them a quick 20 to 30 minute rundown, get their account set up, because that was the one thing that was I was waiting for to kind of backlash, is the fact that these people would have their stream set up, but they didn't know how to activate crowd play. Or Courage JD had his wrong Gmail account synced up, so he couldn't actually do crowd play on his YouTube. So he had to have Grace from Google call her out, and it took 20 minutes for them to actually get his account set up so he could actually crowd play and crowd choice, which I think took down some of his gameplay time. That would just be the one thing. But other than that, I think it's been a huge success, the big streamers, and just seeing and it just brings more conversation to Twitter, which means then Avery gets to say, welcome to Team Stadia, welcome to Team Stadia, welcome to Team Stadia, and all that.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, it's definitely exciting. And of course, y'all know Community Playground on Sunday. It's on. We're playing Outcasters. We're playing. I'm going to do a double link stream. It's crowd play. It's on Sunday. So y'all tune in. And speaking of Outcasters, we've had a good week with it. It's been. I will certainly echo the sentiments from the top of the show that I'm surprised at how much I like this game. I was worried about Outcasters. To be perfectly honest, I was worried about this game because it had so much hype writing on it as the first true post-Stadia game. Orcs Must Die 3 is a Stadia Games and Entertainment game, and that's fantastic. Baldur's Gate was sort of exclusive, and a whole bunch of games that are kind of sort of exclusive or first on Stadia. But Outcasters is really the first one that anybody would say is a Stadia title. It's a Stadia title. And I was worried about it because I was worried it was just going to be Bomberman, super cool for about a day or two or three, maybe a week or two, and then it just goes away. And of course, we've only had it for a week, so we don't really know what the legs of it are going to be. But the fact that I have no trouble at all playing with real humans at any given point in time. I played at 5 a.m. the other day because for whatever reason I was up. And I got 2 or 3 real humans. The rest of them were bots. That's fine. But I never have trouble finding people to play with. And it seems like it is still super, super, super popular. Ejahmix, this has obviously been one of the top games for you. Now that you've had about a week with it, give us your thoughts on how the game plays and how it plays with other people.
The game plays very well. When I'm trying to come up with an idea of how this game 100% runs, it's when I first started playing, I loved it from the start, right? But I noticed there were some things that I guess the learning curve. It's a learning curve in the beginning, but I love the way that they actually prioritize controller for this game. like on PC and mouse, in my opinion, it's a lot harder trying to play Outcasters with, keyboard and mouse. I said PC and mouse, keyboard and mouse, right? But yeah, it's a lot harder. But for this game, they really prioritize controller, and I love that because that, provides an incentive for, people who are just coming into Stadia to go ahead and get that Stadia controller to, enhance their experience with Stadia. So I think that's one thing that I really love that they did. The game, like I said, runs amazing. Outcast is a great game. I'm looking forward to the future of this game because I remember something on Twitter. I think it was Grace. She said something about esports. I could actually see this game having an esports because of how technically I guess competitive it can get, and then the different abilities and all that stuff that go around the game. I can easily see this game getting expanded to where there's more abilities that appear around the map, and there's more game modes and playlists and a season pass mode and all that stuff. I think the game is it has a lot of room to grow, and this is just an amazing start for Stadia Games and Entertainment, with a game like this that has just so much capability to expand and grow, and it can go into all types of different directions. That's kind of my take on the game so far.
Yeah, who would have thought that Splatoon would have a massive esports style following to it, but it does. And this is exactly that kind of game that could hit here. Blue Bobs, I know you've been flinging some curve shots in Outcasters. Give us your 1 week out view of Outcasters.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, going off of Ejahmix, the esports, I mean, imagine the commentary where it's just talking about and the nerf report gets behind the wall, and all of a sudden, Raid the Gaming Sideboard, he closes the door, and the cloud's coming in, and but they get teams together, they get strategies. I think esports would be potential for this game, but for me, I think what kind of for a hot minute there, I would play, and you get some AFK teammates, and you kind of are like, all right, I'm just going to stop playing for a little bit. That can kind of be a little downside to it, but.
Or you just mine them for hearts, and then you move on. If it's a teammate, you can't do that. But if it's one of your last caster standing, I'm just you're not moving. Okay, good. I win. I take your heart down.
Yes. And then the other one was, I think, the gold mine. I think maybe the first week people are kind of learning the game. If there are still brand new people hopping in, there's no ranked mode or anything where you can hop in with people that have played it long enough. That might be similar. Yeah. So you're playing the gold mine game, and people are just going around killing each other, and you're like, hey, teammates, they're all on the gold vault where I am, and I need you guys to be. But I mean, as far as it's been great. It's been running super well. I hopped in the other night just for a couple more games, and it just boom, got my dailies done, got my weeklies done, and it's quick and it's awesome. And yeah, I enjoy it. I started off mouse and keyboard, and I thought it was fun until I picked up the controller, and I was like, yeah, this is way better.
It's so funny. I've seen so many people tweet about you've got to play this game on mouse and keyboard together, and then you got to play this game on controller. And I haven't played it on mouse and keyboard, so I don't know if it's any better, but I've watched it on mouse and keyboard with the I don't. How is it possibly not better that I can control my shots afterwards? Anthony, how have you been? Obviously, we know you've been losing terribly to Ray. Is that what you were saying earlier?
No, I said I won. Okay, and Ejahmix, don't steal my thing. I'm a pack genius. You can't be a caster genius. All right.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Just want to say that. Anyhow, no, what's cool is when I first seen this game, it had a lot of hype, right? Before it came out, and remember, I kept comparing it to Fall Guys, and I said Fallout Guys. So Avery, go ahead, get that last laugh. So he was like, "Wait, what?" But I compared it to that. But I think what's better than that, right, is something like Fall Guys is fun. You're just it makes everybody even. They're just running whatever. But what's cool about this is the curve, because the learning curve is you could potentially kill people by mistake. You could get killed by mistake, and I think that's what makes this people come back, because when you get a game, right, where people master and they're just really good and they're going to be better than everybody. But because this game is all about curving, I'm not going to say one person can't be amazingly better than everybody, but you could do pretty well because the whole object is to curve a bullet. And because you're curving and you can see a really good person, they're missing you. And they might have a bunch of kills, but they can't get their shot right some of the times. And I think that's what took it from, this is just going to be a fun game to this is an addicting game, And then when you win a game, you're like, you really want to play more, when you get more kills because of the curve. So I will say this, it's what I thought it was going to be. but I'm actually more into I like it more than what I thought I would have liked it. You know.
Very cool. We're gonna take it, put a calendar note to check in on it in 1 month, see if we can still got good lobbies. I'm looking forward to seeing what I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with expansion, because they're clearly going to add more levels, more characters, more gameplay modes. So it'll be interesting to see if they take a paid model to that. I know you can buy some of the character packs right now, or if that's just included with Pro or whatever else.
One last thing, and they do have the cowboy hat. I'm just saying. I just had that.
Dude, a whole series of cowboy stuff.
Yeah, you showed me that the other day.
There's a whole set of cowboy stuff. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing where this game goes. I mean, good on you, Stadia Games and Entertainment, for a first real launch out of the gate. Couldn't complain on that. That's not the only game, however, that came out in the past week. We got Submerged, Hidden Depths, Valkyria Chronicles, Unto the End, Figment, Watch Dogs 1 and 2, SpongeBob, SquarePants Rehydrated, and Destroy All Humans, a game that we've been waiting on for a very, very long time, finally launched on the platform. So huge week for other game releases. I played a little bit of Submerged. And it's certainly a very beautiful game. I think the graphics, the graphic quality is fairly high on that one, and I've enjoyed it. It's there's not a lot to it, which I guess is kind of the point. Like, it's supposed to be just kind of a chill game. Like, it's not supposed to be like it's a platform, it's a puzzle, or it's not even a platformer. It's Myst in some regards. But did anybody pull up any of these particular games and give them a try this week?
Yeah, I do a first look on every game, so I try to play every game that's that I purchase or that's a pro game. And Submerge is actually pretty cool, man. Submerge, even though there's no fighting or anything, just the puzzle of you walking around, you grab something, you're taking it there, and you visually see stuff change. So it makes you want to do more, because you get that satisfaction of like, oh, look what I did. And then you're trying to figure out like, okay, I know I got to get over there, and there's a drawbridge, but where's the lever to make it come down, to run around? So I think that's pretty cool. Also, Chronos, would you consider that new, right? That's kind of...
Yeah, that one also. Yeah. I missed that from the list. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know you're going to play that this Saturday at 2 p.m.
Take a first look Saturday on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to play. I'll wait till your first look, then I'll play that. But I'm looking forward to playing that also. But yeah, I mean, I just wanted to spotlight Submerge because I thought it's probably cooler than people think, you know, if you give it a chance.
Don't sleep on Submerged. Ejahmix, did you pick up any of these games this week?
I didn't pick any of them on up on Stadia, but I played Watch Dogs 1 and 2 in the past, and those are games I've definitely enjoyed and put hours into. It's Watch Dogs. If you like Watch Dogs, it's definitely a game to play. It's the whole same formula. I did actually, because I have Watch Dogs on PC though, so I actually did revisit it to see if I would want to buy it again. But I revisited it. It's crazy to see the change though from Watch Dogs to Watch Dogs Legion. It's like almost night and day, and it's still a great game though. It's really cool. Definitely something to check out if you like Watch Dogs.
Might end up seeing that Ubisoft Plus, which we've got 20 days left, you guys. Supposedly it's coming. So Ubisoft Plus. Anybody else pick up any of these games this week?
I played a little bit of the Submerged game, and just like you guys, it's a very beautiful, relaxing game. I feel like it's a game for someone who's not into violent games, enjoys puzzle games, but also like you're achievement hunters, because it's like each island, there's a certain amount of items to pick up. You can unlock boats and customization and find all of that. So that's what I've been enjoying, is going to each separate island, finding everything on the island before leaving. And it's just like, again, there are so many games that have come to the platform that not necessarily my typical shooting genre, but just like the feel-good games, you know, of like, you can read that there's a story beneath it and behind the game, an important story they're trying to get across. And those games are they're really fun to enjoy, and just, again, more of a relaxing. If I play on the big screen TV, this is the kind of game I'm going to want to play on it, just to get fully enveloped in it.
Very, very fun. Dan, any of these on your playlist?
No, because I'm holding out for Ubisoft Plus.
Yeah,
I have got Watch Dogs on the Xbox One, and I played it a little bit. I've never played Watch Dogs 2. I have got Watch Dogs Legion, and I've probably only played about 2 minutes of it, just because there's so many games coming out at the moment that you know what I mean? And somebody said that Stadia had no games, and I've got more games than what I can possibly
Yeah, I
play at this
agree.
point in
Right.
time. And even though some of them are old games that have been brought to Stadia or remastered or whatever, I've never played some of these games, even though they are quite old, like the Far Cry's and stuff like that. So yeah, there's just so much to play at the moment, and I think it'll be a while before I get to any of these games, if I'm honest. So ask me
And
again in 6 months.
One thing I do want to announce, I know there was an issue with some people with the Watch Dogs Legion. If they bought the season pass, they're supposed to get Watch Dogs 1 Complete Edition. I know I just got an email, and Adam, Original Penguin, also got an email today, just like at the beginning of the podcast, saying that you received the Complete Edition, redeemed the code on Stadia. So just also a heads up for that little news update. So
There you go. Fantastic. And there are more places where you can play Stadia now than ever before. Stadia just expanded to 8 more European Union or thereabouts countries: Austria, Czechia, Czechia or Czechia, Hungary, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Slovakia, and Switzerland. So if you are in any of those countries in the European Union, if you're watching us now from any of those countries, let us know in the chat. I would very much love to say hi to you if you're joining us from Hungary. But you can now play, and that, if anything, Stadia is now in 21 more countries than Luna. So,
Shots fired.
I'm just saying. I don't know where GeForce Now is playable, but probably not all of those countries either. We're at this point, they've caught most of Europe. There's really just kind of the BRIC countries left: Brazil, India, China, Russia, and Korea. And there was rumors about it being playable in Japan, or at least that it will be coming to Japan in the near term. Stadia coming to more places. It's important. It's a vital piece of the business strategy. Blue Blobs, you have very, very frequently talked about the business strategy here, and obviously this is just another component of that, right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And it's great because every time you see a Stadia post on social media, there's always comments saying, when is it coming to this country? When is it coming to me? So their Stadia presence is known in other countries. And it's just good to, again, see them growing and showing that Google's not going to shut down and pull the plug on Stadia, or else they would not be worrying about this expansion.
Right. Why would they roll this out to anywhere else if it's going away? Stadia lives. It lives. Anybody else got any thoughts on the country's expansion?
I just personally think it's one of the biggest moves Stadia could do. When we think about how many games are Stadia getting, will they upgrade the blades to Generation 2? Me personally, get it in more hands. I remember a while back, the thing for Stadia was the thing for xCloud was to get Xbox into as many hands as possible, right? Well, how do you do that? With mobile devices, right? There's more cell phones than there's television, right? You might have 3 TVs in a household, but there might be 8 or 9 or 10 cell phones, right? It's just mobile phones are everywhere, and to be able to play something like Cyberpunk on your cell phone, and if a friend of mine, for instance, real quick, he said to me yesterday, oh, he was trying to get Cyberpunk early, right? And he has a PlayStation. He said, well, the best bang for your buck is to just buy a PC, build a PC, and then you can play the best games. I said, well, technically the best bang for your buck, we're talking about money, is to just do cloud gaming, because therefore you could take this powerful game and put it on something you already own, like a TV or a phone or whatever, right? So me personally, going into new countries, into new territories, that means more than the Generation 2 Blade. That means more to me than, can we have Call of Duty Warzone? Because if Stadia could be more places, then Google could make more money, and then other developers would say, hey, we could have our game on more devices, and we can make more money. So that's why this is the biggest thing for me. To be at more places is the most important thing.
Every country they add just puts millions of more people in there. Dan, your thoughts?
So probably one of the highlights of my day today was I was sat in my office where I actually work, and I was just kind of minding my own business, just cracking on with my work, and I heard some of my colleagues talking about. One of the ladies said cyber something, and that perked up the guy who sits next to me, and he was like Cyberpunk, and before you know it, everybody's talking about Cyberpunk, and I kind of just listened. I didn't necessarily say anything about it. Meanwhile, I pulled out my phone and I booted up Cyberpunk on my phone on Stadia. Touch controls, because I didn't have a controller with me. I was at work, obviously I couldn't really play properly. Anyway, someone kind of saw my screen and saw that I was playing Cyberpunk, and they were like, "Is that Cyberpunk?" I was like, "Yeah." "How are you playing that on your phone?" Stadia. Like, what? And it's that good? And I'm like, yeah. Like, it was working flawlessly. I was obviously on the Wi-Fi, and like probably gonna get sacked now for being on the Wi-Fi, but oh well. But yeah, it's like they couldn't believe that. Obviously, I was able to boot it up that fast. Just in the middle of, you know what I mean, the office. Like I could go and play that in the canteen on my lunch break or something, or you know what I mean. And so, and then I kind of caught the guy next to me. I could see his monitor out the corner of my eye, and I could see him on Stadia.com.
You made a convert.
So, yeah, maybe we'll see.
Some at Stadias do other types of converting, but we never mind. Back into the beginning of the show if you hadn't seen that. Last thing to mention here before we move on, big sale, huge sales. In fact, I think they called it the huge sale on Borderlands 3 Legendary Edition, PGA Tour 2K21, Zombie Army 4 Deluxe. The Borderlands 3 Legendary is like $10.99 or Ultimate Edition, whatever it's called. That's if you still have your $10 coupon, then you get that for 99 cents. One of the DLCs in that season pass alone is $15. I already bought Borderlands. I already paid.
I've bought it twice already. This is the third time I've bought Borderlands 3. I bought it on Xbox, and then I bought it on Stadia because it came out on Xbox first, and I didn't want to wait until it came out on Stadia. And then I bought it a third time just because it was so cheap. So.
And then it's just yet another. It's like, okay, now I have 4 different DLCs that I could go back and play, and I haven't played any of them yet. Assassin's Creed was the first thing I ever played on the platform, and I still haven't done Atlantis and the First Blade or whatever the other one was. So, like, I'm not good at going back and doing DLCs. I finished the game, I'm one. Well, you can move on to all of the other headlines on StadiaSource.com, your number one source for Stadia news and reviews, if you want to check out all of the news of the week. But you guys, what's this? It's time for the hot topic. Do you guys like that one? It's anybody? Nobody? A Nightmare Before Christmas? Nightmare Before Christmas, you guys. That's like a huge hot topic thing. Nobody? Seen it. It's fine. It's fine.
You should at least did like a "This is Halloween."
No, it's fine. This week on Monday, some people started noticing that they had an extra button in their UI, and then on Tuesday we found out YouTube streaming is officially here. The thing that Anthony has been waiting on and betting pizzas on for months has finally arrived. And now it is time for anybody, anywhere with a Gmail account to become a YouTube live streamer. Blue Bobs, you went live with Hogs on the live YouTube streaming. Tell us your initial thoughts of how it worked and how it played.
So, I mean, it is amazing. It's basically everything I expected and then some, because being on 20 megabit internet speed, I will have little pixelation. Every now and again, Stadia will just take a second to catch up. It's few and far between. There are times where it happens every minute. There's times where I can go 6 an hour and not have it. But it's just when someone hops on Netflix, boom, I might have a quick drop. But whenever that happened, it only happened about 3 times while I was playing. I would look over to my other monitor and check YouTube, and YouTube it was perfect. There were no issues. And again, it's because my internet is causing my issue. But when it's going from a Stadia server directly to YouTube, it doesn't cross my bandwidth. So you guys, the viewers, which I think is what was huge with the big streamers, is they were direct YouTube streaming, or maybe they weren't because they were using OBS. But for us starting to showcase Stadia, even as a 20 megabit user, I can show it, and the gameplay experience will be seamless and flawless for them, so that it just shows the potential if you do have good internet. There was the one bad thing is that if your game does crash, like if you have a bug in Cyberpunk and your game crashes, your whole YouTube stream crashes. And that happened with Outcasters, but it was hilarious. I was having the worst pixelation of my life. I think we had people on Netflix, YouTube, and everything. It was lagging, and the YouTube was just, I was acing my shot somehow. I think I got 3 kills while I was lagging the whole time, and then my game crashed, and then I just retweeted and said, here's the new link, to my next game. But as far as the streaming quality, it is phenomenal. It's so easy to set up, and it's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
That's high praise from Blue Bob. You gave the direct stream a try, didn't you? Or am I just imagining things from your channel?
I actually didn't give it a try, but I was actually on stream with one of my friends, Edgy Days. He's a YouTube content creator as well. He creates city content as well. But we were actually on stream playing Borderlands or something like that, or Outcasters. And I was setting up crowd choice, and he was setting up crowd choice on his channel too. And he's like, Ejahmix, I can press this button. Are you sure you can't press this direct YouTube streaming button? I was like, what are you talking about? It's not out yet. So I went to it. I was looking for it. I didn't have it yet, but he found it, so it was pretty cool. We freaked out on stream. We were excited about YouTube streaming being on the platform. We were talking about it. It was pretty cool, but I haven't tried it yet. But I was like, I pretty much found out about it as soon as he did it because we were co-streaming and all that stuff. So it was pretty cool.
Cool. Anthony, you famously have 17 different YouTube channels, including Now Your Mama Knows, including Stadia Avengers, and you are a person that I think if anybody, I'm going to say this, and I realize that it could come off weird, but I'll explain why I'm saying it. Like, you're a person that clearly indicates anybody can stream. Like, you are very much a community engaged person. You're like, let's just do it. I want to stream a tech review. I want to stream with my wife laying in bed. That doesn't mean what any of you think it means. And it's not my wife, it's Anthony's wife. It's not me. No, you're fine. It's fine, guys. Move on. But this really is about the democratization of streaming and making it accessible to anybody, anywhere, at any point in time.
Yes. So the reason why I wanted it so bad, there's times where I go to my wife's mom's house, right? And she lives in Allentown, PA. And where she lives at is like nothing to do. And for me, it's my downtime, right? I'll work on videos. I'll just play gaming. So for me, Stadia is awesome for that. I didn't have to take and she doesn't have internet, right? So I would go there with my Stadia. I would fire up my Stadia and I would play on and a lot of people, I don't get it why they say, oh, I have issues with mobile. I've been playing with mobile since 4G and flawless, right? So maybe it's the Galaxy Fold because it's a newer device. I don't know. So anyway, but one thing I can't do is stream, right? It was like, man, it'd be cool if I don't have to miss a stream. So I think this is going to come in handy just as great as having the platform of Stadia being able to play wherever, but also the people. I got a real quick story, and most everybody knows Squid, right? You guys all know who Squid is. I was watching a stream he was doing where he pretty much said, hey, I'm going to start making content, but I can't stream yet because my internet can't handle it. So eventually one day when they come out with the Stadia straight direct streaming, I'll be able to stream. And the coolest thing happened, like a couple days later, or maybe the next day, I see him streaming. I'm like, I just watched your video. You couldn't stream. Oh, I'm doing direct streaming. I was like, bravo, Google. Like, that was super awesome. So I think for the people who want to stream, but they can't, like, there's so many people I play with and they say, dude, I want to do it. I just can't do it. I can't do an OBS or blah, blah, blah. And Charm say Avery, you remember when how long it took me to stream when I first joined Stadia Source because my old laptop just couldn't do it. And you was like, I reached out to so many of you guys on the phone with me to late at night, Adam, like, dude, your PC can't do it. But with direct streaming, man, it just makes all of that null and void. So I'm excited.
It's really a big change. By the way, breaking news for those of you who are with us right now and ordered the Cyberpunk pre-order, your premier codes are delivering to your email right now, unless you're Dan, whose card got booted. But other than that, your premier codes are on the way. Dan, you have been in content creation for gaming for quite some time, and obviously Stadia Source is your baby, and we've been really ramping up our content here. But this really does kind of change things a little bit, doesn't it? It really does open this up to a whole new group of folks who otherwise couldn't do it.
I mean, yeah, I think Blue Bob's kind of hit the nail on the head with the fact that obviously you don't need. I mean, you need a semi decent internet to play Stadia,
Right.
but to also then stream it as well on top of that, because obviously Stadia uses up and download, and then to then upload your gameplay to YouTube, that can kill even probably some of the best internet connection speeds. So the fact that you can just have a separate feed going out to YouTube, and I do believe at some point, I don't know if you can do this right now or whether it's something that is further down the line, but obviously you can take the URL of your feed and put it into OBS and add your own overlays and stuff like that. Someone, if anybody's tried that in the chat, let me know if that is something you can do now. I know they said that was eventually going to be the plan, because a lot of people were saying, well, how do I have my webcam, for example, in the top corner if I'm playing on Stadia? How does that work? And I know that a lot of people have been playing, they wanted to stream from the Chromecast or their mobile or something, and I believe there is a workaround. I think, Andrew, you said, was it you that said something about that as well? But it's a way that you could get it to work from the Chromecast. I believe these things need to be built into it natively, because not everybody's going to know that you can do it that way. But it's only just rolled out. It's definitely going to change over the next few months or years or whatever anyway. So, yeah, super excited to where this is going to go. And it just makes streaming so much easier. And I can't wait. I might actually start doing a bit of streaming myself because of this as well, because it's just one of those things that, like, I mean, I could just be settling down for a couple of games of Outcasters, super chilled, not really bothered about having to be on camera or something like that. And I know sometimes how much of a faff it can be to get a stream set up. And I think when we were doing Stadia Super Saturday, for example, I know Ejahmix, who was one of the guys who streamed, just decided it didn't want to work just before they streamed. So, and Andrew, you jumped in and did a rescue stream, and Megatron X, she did a rescue stream as well. And how easy would it have just been for them to just hit live stream, go?
Yep.
It's not all your bells and whistles, your webcam and your overlays and stuff like that, but it's enough to just get some content out there.
Not to mention the was it Adam or somebody in our Slack was saying, hey, look, at this point, if you're not happy with how long your 30-second clips are and you want to record something longer, just hit go live and make it private. And now you have 4K fully streamed, as long a recording as you want on that. I appreciate everybody's feedback on the hot topic tonight. Obviously, we're at the past just 2 or 3 weeks of Stadia, like crowd play, crowd choice coming to more games, Outcasters launched, YouTube streaming launched, Stadia with these huge moves, Stadia in new countries. Very clearly, we're in phase 2. Like we're in phase 2, and it's only getting better from here. We want you to tell us about your experience with our hot topic tonight. Head over to Twitter and tweet at us at Stadiasaurus with, if you are going to use this feature and you're going live, tweet at us with your YouTube channel, and we might throw you a like or a retweet there. I just gave Dan some homework for while we're watching the Game Awards, but we want to help you grow there. Ejahmix, so good to have you on the podcast tonight. If people want to find you on the interwebs, where can they go?
You can find me on Twitter at King Ejahmix and on YouTube at Just Ejahmix. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Fantastic. And go subscribe. He's at 98 subs right now. Can we get him to 200? Can we get him to 100? Can we get him to 100 by the time I finish everything I'm about to say? I'm going to check in right after the hosting for Stadia Source provided by Rock. So we're going to check in. I want him at 100 by that point.
I would really appreciate it. I am
20 plus of you watching right now. You can make this happen. We also want to let you know a couple of cool things. Number one, we're hiring. If you would like to join the Stadia Source team as a content creator like our lovely Blue Bobs and Anthony, a writer like our fantastic Dan the Man right here, who's also the editor-in-chief, so he's kind of more important than that, but still, a game reviewer, which is actually how I got my start with the channel. Check out my review of Stacks on Stacks on Stacks. First thing I ever wrote for Stadia Source.
He never wrote another one since.
I think I wrote like Celeste. I wrote Celeste because we just hired a brand new writer, Luke Langlands. Check out his awesome writing. Person is like bylines on the Guardian, man. I mean, he's legit. So check out his incredible editorial on Celeste. It's on the channel right now. If you want to join us, head to stadiasource.com and there is a join the team pinned post, or head to our Twitter where you can see that as our pinned tweet right now. We are accepting. We've got multiple positions open, so you could join the team and be a part of this amazing thing with Stadia Source in 2021, which is only getting better from here. Right after this stream, starting at 6:30, head over to Sounds of Stadia. Our good friends Chris, Tom, and Richie, as well as our good friends Eddie, Player One, and Chase, aka the Gaming Advocate, are going to be joining Dan and myself. Technically, we're joining Sounds of Stadia because they're the ones. They are an official restreamer of the Game Awards tonight, and we are going to be live with them for the next however long it takes Dan not to fall asleep, because I'm in the UK. I'm in the US. It's fine, but it's sleeping time for him.
I've got plenty of time left in me.
So head over there and check out their stream. Watch us live. Watch us watching the Game Awards, and watch the Game Awards as we watch with us live tonight. It's gonna be super, super fun, and we are excited to have you join us for that. Check out the Stream Team Dream Team all week long here on SourceFeed Live. We've launched some brand new shows on the SourceFeed Live. Dom's Stadia Domination, which you can enjoy. Blue Bob's The Break Even Point. We finally figured out what that third B was, didn't you? As well as F-Tendo's Brews and Bruises, but you've also got Charm City's Community Play, Scarlet's Ready Gamer 1, All Purpose Champs Power Up Plus, and F-Tendo's Dad Time Gaming. And coming in January, the Stadia Game Show. So make sure you tune into SourceFeed Live all week long. If you've been here live in the chat, hanging out with us, we are so excited to have you with us. We're going to say just a real quick hi to Charles, saying he'd love to see features like the PS5. Well, we would all love those, and it would be really, really great. We got Zach Eccleston, potential future streamer over there in Zach. He's trying. Lord Vivek streaming from the CCU. Chilled Frank. I have Chilled Frank in Germany. Guten Tag. Or Guten Nacht, Chilled Frank. Glad to have you, Kevin, and a whole bunch of other folks. We're so glad that you were here tonight with us. Also, we are super, super thankful for all of the folks that support us, whether that is through Super Chats, memberships, or whatever that happens to be, like Jack here, who has he's the guy that does like awesome Stadia stats. Go follow him. He's really cool. Stadia streamer, the Platinum tier folks, the Gold tier folks, the Silver tier folks, the Bronze tier folks, and those two guys that bought us a coffee, and all of our past patrons as well. We really appreciate all of you supporting us here on the channel. Blue Bobs, Dan, Anthony, have a great rest of your night.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye-bye.
There you go.
I'll be seeing you shortly. If you're listening to the podcast, you can join us live most Thursday evenings right here on YouTube. And if you're watching us on YouTube, you can download our podcast on Spotify, Pocket Casts, and everywhere else you can get podcasts. You can follow us on Twitter at Stadia Source, like us on Facebook, put us on your naughty list, and join our Discord at stadiasource.com/Discord. You can even wear Stadia Source merch when you're out and about by going to stadiasource.com/merch. The music at the top of the show is Summer in the Neighborhood by Bad Snacks. You can check out her music at badsnacks.bandcamp.com. Hosting for Stadia Source generously provided by Rock. You can find out more about the technical expertise provided by Rock at rokk.co.uk. Ejahmix, currently sitting at 101 subscribers. Welcome
You did it.
to
Thank
the
you.
Club. And if you haven't already, down below this stream, there is a thumbs up button that lets us know you like the show. Right next to it is a subscribe button that lets us know every time we post a new video. You can also become a member of the Stadia Source channel by clicking the join button, with great perks at every level of your budget. Don't forget to tune in. Sounds of Stadia channel, the Game Awards tonight for Stadia Source. My name is Avery. Thank you for tuning in to the Stadia Source Roundtable podcast. Y'all have a good night.